if you haven't run a business as a manager in the real world, it might not be as obvious to you, or it might not feel like it's necessary, or it might not feel like it's going to save you enough to make it worth your while. But I guarantee you, we save $3,000 or $4,000 a year. Hey, it's Don. It's another freezing day outside. You saw it's like ice everywhere outside. It's about 2 degrees outside, so I'm, again, bundled up, my favorite pullover. Today we're going to talk about supplies. And I've talked about them many different times. There's some key things that I always do when I'm looking for supplies. Now, during the pandemic, supplies structure was totally different. During the pandemic, I would get these. They're about 2 mil food grade bags for under $30 for 1,000 of them. And that's because these are used in restaurants, and restaurants were terrible. They were having no sales. They were forced to close and the whole works. So I was able to get the supplies for almost nothing. And the bags that I used to get were unavailable because of being shipped from overseas. So those are back in, and these are back up to 70 some odd bucks a shot. So I've had to mess around with shipping supplies lately and try and get what I need to replace stuff. Now this is the bag. Now, I think it says Ellery or something inside of it. These are the exact same size bags. I'm not gonna pull it out, it doesn't really matter. Those are 2 mil, these are 1 mil, these are around 30 bucks. I'll drop some links for those who are interested in any of these supplies. I buy these probably around 1,000 to 5,000 at a time. If I can get a discount by buying anything in mass quantity, I will do it. I'm gonna use every single thing that I buy because I sell a lot of stuff. Now, it doesn't matter how long it takes me to use these, they will get used. If I buy more though, it brings my cost down. Now, I've said this and people just think, who cares, it's no big deal. A penny saved is a penny earned. Every penny I don't have to spend means I don't have to earn it. So that's the best aspect of it. If I can save money doing anything, I do it. Posties, for an example. I buy them by the case now. I think there's 6 or 8 of these 1,200. So I'm buying, I don't know, 10, 15,000 posties. And then I cut these up into 3, each one of these, because it's far cheaper. The more I buy, the cheaper they are. I use posties, geez, 50 times a day, 100 times a day, every single day that I'm out here. Sleeves. Same thing with postcard sleeves. Now, I use postcard sleeves for buttons, postcards, stamps, CDVs, trade cards, 35mm slides, medals, anything. Anything that'll fit in here goes in one of these. So I buy these 5 or 10,000 at a time. Far cheaper. I could almost buy these and then sell them because I buy so many of them and still make a profit off of selling some of them. I don't want to be making piddly change on stuff like this, so I don't do that. Now, I know many people may not be able to purchase that many of these. There's an easy way around that. Obviously, you probably know some other resellers in your area. You group purchase them together. 3 or 4 people buys 5,000 sleeves. You divide them equally for the expense. Divide the expense by 5. Divide the quantity by 5, and you're still going to get that same discount. When I couldn't buy them by myself, I tried to go in with other people, get other people to purchase them because I expressed that it would save them money as well as me, and I would take the purchase out of my account. So, you know, it's easy as can be if you know enough people to be able to do this. Same thing with the 5x7. Again, these are 3.5 by 5.5 or somewhere in that range, a little bigger than that, just so you have room to have some space on it. But I also buy 5x7s. Now, I may buy these 5 or 10,000 at a time. I buy these 1,000 or 2,000 at a time because these are way more expensive, and usually there's no discount on these after a certain point. So if I'm not going to get a discount on them, I don't really care. I at least buy 1,000 though, so I don't have to keep worrying about how quickly they will run out. I go through all of the stuff that you're going to see here constantly, every single month. Some things I just couldn't keep up getting free material, so I purchased them. Boxes are one of those things as well. Now, my poly bags, the majority of what I use, I buy them, I don't know how many's in one of these, maybe 1,000. Yeah, this one has 1,000 count in it. There might be an extra bag or two just because this is my bag off my shelf right here. I buy these 5 or 10,000 at a time too. They're 1 by 6 by 9s basically, or 6 by 9s. Now these are not from eBay. I buy them straight up because I can get them way cheaper from someone else if I don't mess with the eBay ones. So what do I use my free shipping supplies? I buy some of the little smaller boxes because it's just not practical for me to spend the money to buy hundreds of them when I only use a few at a time. In a year, I may go through 50 or 60 of the little 6 by 5 by 5 boxes from eBay. And that's literally where I use my money at, from eBay. I don't buy tape or anything else like that. The tape as well, far cheaper. Now, I'm not brand loyal in any of these items. As long as it's, say, I think these are 2 mil. Yeah, 2 mil. Most everything I try to get 2 mil. Now, like the bags I showed you, I had 2 mil. I'm going down to 1 mil because they're cheaper. Now, these bags are 12 by 16. Same ones, same size as these food grade bags. And these will fit sheet music of any size, folded movie posters, lobby cards, stills, 8 by 10s, books, magazines, any of that stuff goes in one of those, or it'll go in here. Now, let's say I got to mail a LP, a 12-inch LP. These are exactly 12 inches. I don't do many LPs anymore because they're not as good of a seller for us as 45s and 78s. And the investment into them and the return on my investment is far less on LPs. So I honestly don't mess with LPs unless it's like one here, one there. I've got some on the shelves and stuff. Those are sellable items too. But unless they're really good, I don't mess with them at all, because it's just not worth it. So I don't have to worry about many bags for them because my 78s will go in these. If I've got to mail a couple LPs here or there, or something that's 12 inches or larger, I just cut these on one side, 2 bags, and then I seam them together down the middle with just some tape. It's far cheaper for me to use 2 bags than to buy a whole nother run of bags that I may only use twice, 3, 4 times a month at most. So 40 or 50 times a year. It'll take me 5, 6 years to use the bags, and it'll be far more expensive to buy them because I won't be able to buy them in mass quantity. So if I waste a couple bags 3 or 4 times a month at most, it's far cheaper than me buying a totally different size. I've tried to pick sizes like these 12 by 16s. I can cut them down for something smaller. So if it doesn't fit in a 5 by 7, I can cut them down on this, meaning I'll cut one of these bags in half and I can use it twice. Half for one item, half for another item if it's a smaller size item. It's just a matter of taping up another side, that's it. The tape is pretty cheap. Now with tape, as I said, I don't worry about the brand at all. I don't care about the brand. There are some brands that I do like, and I do have them all saved on watch lists and stuff, you know, favorites and stuff on eBay, Amazon, and a couple other places. But I'm not brand specific. If it's the same 2 mil, like this is 2 mil tape, I'll buy 1.8 or 2 mil. It's the only sizes I'll get. Now when you're buying the rolls of tape, make sure it's 110 yards. Because some people will be selling you 55-yard rolls for the same price as the 110-yard rolls. They may be 2 mil too, so you got to be careful. So I hunt down and get the best price. Usually I'll buy tape off of Amazon, to be honest with you. I think the bags now come from Amazon. When I buy it off of Amazon too, many times if I buy so many 5 or more cases, I can get them cheaper. So I will buy 5, 6, even 10 cases of 36 rolls of tape if I need to get that discount. Tape is something I will never, ever not have to use. So it's always going to be used. I go through tape. I can go through a case of tape in less than a month very easily. Boxes I may order every single month if there's no discount for buying quantity. Again, it just depends. Even like the markers. When I buy Sharpies, I buy them in a big bulk lot. I might buy, you know, a mixed lot of 6 of one size, 6 of another, and 6 of another in a bulk purchase. You know, I don't care. If it saves me money at the end of the day, that's what I'll do. Labels. Now, I buy actual labels, and I know I've got a Zebra, and I've got all the thermal printers and stuff. I know everybody says thermal printers are better and all that stuff. I use my printers for a lot of other things besides just printing labels. Most people, when they say that, only print labels. I do a lot of other things because I run multiple different types of businesses, so I do print a lot of different things. Marky print stuff, you know, other people print stuff here too. It's far easier to buy them, far cheaper for me to waste all that time constantly going back and forth and changing the settings for which printer is going to print than anything else. And I'm fine with printing them this way. These just stick right on it. I know it's basically kind of like the thermal printers. The printer that I have, I print all kinds of other things, as I said, return labels, which you can't do on that too, for letters and other things, because I don't just sell on eBay, I sell on other sites. So it all matters to me, every aspect, and it's far easier than spending an average 30 minutes a day switching back and forth between, you know, default printers, because we might print something 30 times a day. You know, so it's obviously cheaper just to buy the labels. Whatever's cheapest for you, check out the price, check out how much it's going to cost both ways. If you can save money doing it one way versus the other, that's what you need to do. Now, during the pandemic, the local box manufacturers had cheap boxes. Now, I used to buy boxes from Walmart. These are 12-inch cube boxes. It's the box that I buy the most of. I only buy a couple different sizes of boxes. We do buy a lot of stuff offline, and not just like for reselling, so I always have boxes from Amazon and stuff. So oddball size boxes I never have to worry about. So the only ones I worry about purchasing almost exclusively are the 6x5s, and I think there's a 6x8 12 off of eBay that sometimes I get, which I can put some type of posters in running diagonal. But the 12x12 is what I use to ship 78s. Small format sheet music, comic books, books. I cut these up. Postcards are shipped with, you know, a quarter of a side. So I'll quarter the box into 4 sides. I'll quarter each panel side of the box into 4. So if I have 16 postcards, I can ship 16 postcards and have enough cardboard out of one single box. 16 items can be shipped out of one single box the way I cut them up. Everything I ship out the door is wrapped up in plastic completely, locked, it can't get wet, and cardboard is wrapped around it. I don't care what it is. When we shipped t-shirts, it was wrapped in cardboard. A piece of cardboard was folded around it so it couldn't get stabbed, ripped, damaged, or anything else like that. And that's what I do. Now, the boxery is who I get boxes from quite often on Amazon. If they're cheap locally, obviously I'll get them. Walmart, you used to be able to get these size boxes for 79 cents plus tax. They went up to 86, 97, $1.05, $1.25, $1.27, you know, on and on. They've raised the price now, so it's cheaper for me to buy them online and pay for the shipping to have them delivered. Obviously, I have a little more cost in the boxes these days than I used to. That's just the cost of doing business, literally a cost. You know, so I pay attention to what's going on. Again, like the bags, the 12x16s. If they're cheaper to buy this type of bag, I'll buy that type of bag. I'll go from 2 mil down to 1 mil if I have to. These are the same brands that I've had before and I've used before I could get the restaurant style bags through COVID. So again, everything changes. Price structure changes. Certain trade cards are dying on eBay. They don't get the sales they used to. Less collectors in some categories. Comic book prices are going down. You know, certain items just don't sell as much as they used to in the past. People used to collect them, passed away or aren't interested or don't have the money or whatever else may be. That's with anything. So every part of my business I am moving around, changing, checking, doing research on the prices, like box prices. You know, 2 weeks before I would need to order boxes, I'm already double checking prices. Sometimes 30 days, a month or two even before I need something, I'm making sure I have it, I can find it cheap, and it's in stock somewhere. Don't wait to the last minute to look for something. Oh, I'm almost out of boxes. The beginning of every month, I check and see what I need for shipping supplies. Here's another one, like with newspaper. I used to get newspapers for free, you know, at places, or have people save them for me. Well, it's not practical when you're always running out. It's not worth the hassle trying to sort it. It's not worth the hassle of me driving out. I don't go out for much. I don't need to go out, so I don't, you know, go by places I can just grab some free newspapers. You know, a lot of relatives, you know, don't mess with the newspaper anymore either, so I buy it. There's 250 sheets in here. It's about $9 or less if you buy it in bulk. I'll buy a case of these, 6-8 of these reams, so it'll be what, what's that, 1,500 sheets. And they're big sheets. Check the sizes, check how many square feet you get. That's just packing paper. You know, and again, that can be bought locally sometimes. It might be cheaper. Walmart is usually more expensive than where I would get it at as well. It may even be the same brand. I don't know. I don't pay attention to what brand it is. It's the cost. As long as the dimensions are the same, the sheet count's the same, I get a discount if I buy more. That's who I'm buying it from. If next time I need to buy some, the price is different and somebody else is cheaper, I'm just going to the other person. There is no brand loyalty when it comes to saving yourself money, when it comes to running your business. Now, I'm loyal to my customers when they routinely come back and all that kind of stuff. No problem at all. I'm loyal to people I buy from for like sourcing and things like that. But shipping supplies or business supplies or like reams of paper for the printer or anything else like that, wherever it's cheaper. Tape, wherever it's cheaper. Bags, wherever it's cheaper. Wrapping paper, packing paper. Wherever it's cheap, that's what matters. Boxes, the same thing. The only sad part on the boxery, which, they're good on shipping, they're good on having it in stock, they're good on the sizes, is there is no discount when you buy so many. And so that's one reason why I don't use the boxery half the time, at least, maybe 75% of the time, because I can find it somewhere else. And if I buy a couple hundred, I can usually get them cheaper. Buying a couple hundred, 12-inch cube boxes is no big deal because they're going to get used in a month or two. So I don't really worry. In one day, I could cut up 4 or 5 boxes and ship those out in that one single day. And then maybe still have to pack up 2 or 3 78s or something and use more boxes. So in one day, I could practically use close to 9 or 10 boxes fairly easily. So it goes by pretty quick when you're doing it. So bulk buying is not the idea. Now, again, you can buy boxes with 3 or 4 other people if you need to. If you don't know anybody around you, that might be a different story. But most people know at least a couple that are hopefully close enough where you can, do something. Unless they're a competitor and they're just not nice folks, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you in those cases. But I have no problem going in with somebody. I'm the one buying them, so hopefully I don't get stuck and they, don't shell out the funds, but I've never had an issue like that. So, hopefully you have somebody that you can do that to, but that's the way to get it at the same rate as I would get it. Everything I buy is bought in bulk. Everything I buy, the 6x9 polys, yeah, there's probably 2 cases in this one box. There's a lot in that one, but now I know a lot of people have a problem. Well, why would I spend extra money now when I don't need to? I don't need to spend that money. I could be doing something else with it. Well, if you look at it at the big picture, over a year's time frame, over a couple months time frame, you're going to use all that. And you might save 20, 30%, maybe even up to 40% if you're buying enough of it in bulk to get that discount. It's like going to Home Depot or something. It used to be buy a dozen, you get it cheaper, but now it's buy 16 of anything. Cheapskates. Yeah, I know that's sad, but I still now will buy the 16 of something. If it means I got to buy 16 cans of spray foam insulation or 16 2x4s to get the discount, I'm just going to do it because it's just not worth it not to save the money. And I'm going to use the material as long as you're going to use the material. Now I buy the boxes even at 100 count at a time, even if I'm not getting the discount, just to have them in house. If I can't find the discount, obviously I still have to get the boxes. Most every single supply though that I would use, I can get in bulk. Printer cartridges, I can buy those in bulk too. Go to Newegg if you're gonna be looking around too. Don't just look on Amazon, eBay. Look at Walmart and Newegg if you're looking for like computer supplies, printers, or any of the parts for them as well too. I buy the carriages and things for the printers myself. I'll put all that stuff in. I've replaced rollers or whatever else. Again, because if I don't have to take a piece of machinery, a computer in, I'm saving money right off the bat. None of my computers have been in a shop. I've taken care of every single one for the last, 15 or 20 years. I put them together. The laptops I've upgraded myself. I install all the hardware myself. I set up the multiple networks we have. We have 3 different networks, all connected to our internet. Everything I can do, I try to do myself. I wouldn't even have purchased this building if I wouldn't have actually been able to do all the work myself. Again, it's saving yourself money. I used to fix our cars too. I don't do that anymore. I'll just take them in, and ours has a warranty and all that stuff too. Every car we have is under warranty nowadays. But in the past, I fixed everything. Me and Marky put an engine in and a transmission just because it saved us $1,200. And we didn't have the money to do it. We bought a junkyard engine with 4,000 miles from a crashed car. And anyway, the person we sold the car to years ago still drives that car. We save hundreds of dollars a month, every single month out of the year, by penny pinching. Every dime you can save is a dime you don't have to earn. People just don't take that at heart. That's true. When I worked at a business, any business out there as a manager, you're basically judged by how you can control the business, how you can save. Now, there's controllables and non-controllables. Electric bill to some extent is semi-non-controllable, but you can, put different light bulbs in and cut the overall cost, which will lower your overall expenses. And again, if you haven't run a business as a manager in the real world, it might not be as is obvious to you, or it might not feel like it's necessary, or it might not feel like it's going to save you enough to make it worth your while. But I guarantee you, we save $3,000 or $4,000 a year between light bulbs and cheap stuff. Months worth of bills are paid from just saving money. That's the whole point. Even your time is money, and it all comes down to saving as much money and time as you can. And buying in bulk is one of those things I've done for years and years, since I was a manager, a GM, general manager, and then as a regional manager. When I realized that most of my stores didn't buy stuff in bulk, but I had vehicles going to each store, I said, well, why don't I start forcing some store to pick up bulk purchases, and then we can spread the material out to all the other stores and save the money. And it worked. I always made my bonuses. For as a regional manager or as a general manager, you get your bonuses based on how you control your controllables, labor, expenses, whether it be supplies or utilities and things like that. That's how you make your bonus. If you don't hit your numbers, you might lose this bonus, that bonus, that bonus. And in many cases, the bonus might mean a loss of 40% of our income. Base salary is what you get, and then you get bonus. So for the 20 plus years I worked in the industry, I figured out how to save every dime, every penny I could, whether it through, sensor lights that shut off when somebody went out of the room and things like that. It adds up when you're running a region and running, multiple stores. If you've got 30 or 40 stores and none of them are doing that, and all of a sudden, all of them are saving hundreds of dollars a month in utility bills. Overall, my region was saving tens of thousands of dollars when none of the other regions were. It actually forced many of the other regions under my division to do the exact same thing. It saved the company hundreds of thousands of dollars when you look at it over a year or two time span, over 30 plus stores. I mean, it was an insane amount of money over just stupid, simple changes. Sure, it might seem like an initial bigger investment, but it is an investment. And it's something you're going to use, and you're going to have to spend the money on it. If you don't spend it now where you can get it cheaper, you're going to have to spend a full price on it to get it when you need it. So again, I really hope that helps a little bit. I'll have some links down to some of these items here, just recent purchases, just to give you an idea on some of these things. But this is what we use. Don't listen to other people tell you this type of thing is a waste of time. You're talking, you have the potential to make thousands of extra dollars a year because you didn't spend that thousands of extra dollars a year. If I didn't do all these things and LED lights and all that stuff, it may be $3,000-4,000 a year, again, buying bulk and all that stuff, that I'm just giving away because I didn't want to spend a few extra minutes or a few extra bucks at a certain time. As soon as you're able to do it, or if you have anybody else in your area, everybody needs tape who ships on eBay. There's no way that tape, the free supplies I get from eBay would last me more than a week or two. So it would just be totally pointless to try and go that route. So we buy everything these days. I do use my eBay to get the smaller boxes. That's about what they cover these days. I don't have the Anchor store anymore because, again, that saves us $240 dropping the Anchor store. I still have the same amount of listings. I haven't changed that. I can still add to my listings because of Vend and Sell Similar and all that kind of stuff. So, it works out fine for us all across the board, saving money. But anyway, I hope that honestly helps. This is seriously what I do for everything in my business. That's why we buy in bulk for merchandise. For our inventory is pretty much all bought in bulk for the exact same reason. It might take you a while to figure it out, but once you figure it out, you should be on a roll from that point on. The same thing goes for this. But anyway, that's it, and I honestly and sincerely thank you all for your very kind support.